Before we get into today's video, make sure you guys subscribe to the channel down below. You follow us on our TikTok, our Twitter, Instagram, Spotify, and YouTube is just down there in the description button. And if you guys enjoyed today's video, make sure you guys go ahead and smash that thumbs up button. It really helps us out. And thank you guys and enjoy the video. Welcome in everybody. This is Devil's Den, episode number 13. I'm joined alongside Chris. We just got that 1-0 victory against Wolves. Chris, how are we feeling after that victory?
Feeling good about the win, not feeling too good about the performance.
Yeah, it wasn't a great performance for sure, but look, I mean, we got the W. That's all that mattered in the end of the day. But yeah. Before we start real quick, make sure you guys subscribe to the channel. You guys comment your thoughts on the match from last week and also comment your score prediction for next week's match against Tottenham. And in this podcast, we're going to be discussing the match from last week a little bit. Going to be going kind of quickly with that because we want to move on to next week. And then also we're going to be discussing some sales we need done and then also some purchases hopefully the club makes in terms of player signings. And then the last thing, we're going to be discussing Tottenham, which is up next because that's who we're playing next. So, Chris, let's get into it real quick. The 1-0 victory against Wolves. Deserved? Not deserved? What do you think?
I don't think it's very deserved. I think we had a really poor performance. First league game. You know, I think we all expected a bit more from the boys, but it's okay. We got the win and we move on to Saturday.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't a great performance for sure. I think the tactics just weren't there. We left Casemiro kind of stranded on an island, and for me, I just saw a lot of really poor performances out there. You know, Garnacho didn't really play well. Rashford didn't play very well. Antony is Antony. We know how it is with him. Until we've seen otherwise, you know, he's just been horrible. And then Mason Mount kind of was a ghost for most of the match. He had a few defensive moments that were pretty solid, but apart from that, he didn't offer anything. Bruno, dude, for me, Bruno had his worst performance of all time in a Manchester United jersey.
I don't know about that.
You don't know?
I don't know about his worst performance.
Why?
He's definitely had worse performances for United. He got the pre-assist to the goal, so he did technically contribute to the win. So you can't possibly say that's his worst performance.
Well, technically all of them did. It's a team win, but like at the end of the day, Bruno was horrible.
From a more direct goal involvement.
Okay, I guess, but he still didn't get the assist. But anyway, yeah. Anyways,
he did not play well. I'm not defending him.
Bro. He played awfully. And then the only performance I really thought was good, or I guess there were a couple. I say Onana and Wan-Bissaka were the two best. And Varane had a good display as well, especially capping it off with a goal. His first goal for United. I think his first league goal, at least. I don't know if it's his first goal. I want to say it's just his first league goal. But yeah, good time to come, especially because we needed it because we weren't having anything come out of the strikers. Also, not to mention, from a Wolves perspective, bro, just having your manager quit on you so close to your first match and just getting this new manager in for less than a week, and then they played the way they did. Honestly, I think my prediction that Wolves is going to relegate it might not work out now because they were looking pretty solid.
After game week 1.
I don't know if that was because we were just the worst performance I've ever seen. I did low-key worse performance than the Liverpool match, bro. Honestly. They were horrible. Okay, the first half,
bad.
It was bad. It was really bad. And then also, we saw some interesting performances from some Wolves players. Cunha, bro, that man ran the match. And then Mateus Nunes, Neto, even Sarabia, bro, their whole team really played surprisingly well. I was not expecting that out of them. So hopefully this next week when we play against Tottenham, we wake up because it just seemed very lethargic, especially after playing all those matches in the preseason. So that was definitely a disappointing result. But last thing before we move on from the Wolves match, Chris, we had an incident in the final minutes of the match, the 96th minute or 95th minute. I forgot which minute exactly. But Onana came in off a cross where I think two of the Wolves players were going for it and they headed it out. And then Onana comes in and clatters into a Wolves player. Penalty or no penalty, Chris?
No penalties for me. I might sound biased, but I mean, come on, keepers do that stuff all the time. And I feel like just because it's United, everyone's talking about it, blowing it out of proportion and stuff. Like, yeah, it's football is a physical sport. You know, you're going to get contact, especially from your keepers who have the right to go in for those types of crosses. And, you know, sometimes you're going to clatter into opposing players. he didn't impede him from getting to the ball. The ball was already headed out of the way, so not a penalty for me. It looks bad. I'm not saying it looks good. It looks pretty bad, but it's not never a penalty.
Yeah, I can understand from a Wolves fan and Wolves what the coach was thinking perspective with, it did kind of look like if you had any other player, a defender doing that to another player, that probably would have been called. But the way the rules are in terms of the goalkeeper kind of being able to have those liberties of, contesting a player like that, that's never really been called. So why would it be called now? And I even remember I tweeted out, there was an example from last season. I think it was like week 1 of last season. Leeds played against Wolves, and I forgot who for Leeds was going up for the ball, but someone was going up for the ball, and then Jose Sa did the exact same thing. Like, it was almost verbatim of what Onana did, and nothing was called. And so then it's just funny because I see that and nothing was called, and this is last season and no rules changed on that. But now Wolves fans are up in a pickle about Onana doing the same thing. And you saw Wolves made a funny TikTok about Onana.
Yeah.
They were kind of making fun of him. They're using the impractical jokers. Honestly, I thought it was kind of funny, but it's just it's very salty for them. But look, we got the victory. That's all that matters. You guys can say whatever you want about the match. You can say whatever you want about the penalty. But all that matters is we got the dub.
3 points.
So let's move on because we don't want to talk much more about the shameful performance that we had last week. Chris, we've got some business to do, hopefully at least, because we still need probably a center back, CDM, and a center mid. But looking at the way things have kind of gone lately, it seems like we might not even get any of them. But I just want to ask you, if you could pick one position and then one player to sign, which player would that be?
Right now, it's kind of looking like we need another center mid. Which I know we already got a center mid for Ten Hag's his 11, but I think we need, especially now that Fred's leaving, McTominay could possibly leave. I think we need another, not holding midfielder, but like a deeper midfielder. Sorry, who can play like next to Casemiro. From a player perspective, we've been linked heavily to Amrabat pretty much the whole summer. And I hope that move goes through. I think that would be a great signing for us to get some experience, some physicality, leadership. I know there's some other players, center mid we were linked to, another Onana from Everton. There's also a Bayern Munich player we've been linked to. But I think Amrabat's been the clear choice for United, and I hope that he can cross over the line at some point.
Okay, so Amrabat. Yeah, I mean, I think Amrabat would be a fantastic signing, especially at the price point that we've been seeing.
Mm-hmm.
The rumors, I think it was about like 25, maybe 30 million euros, which I think will be a bargain for 26-year-old, played on the Moroccan team that did really well in the World Cup. It's been playing well in the Italian league. But I don't know, for me too, you got to look at the center back position, because if we lose Harry Maguire, which it seems like he's the only one at the moment that's still in the squad that could probably leave the most likely to leave the club. And I know that they say in the news that West Ham have kind of eased off and the talks have died down between West Ham and United, but I think he could still move. I hope he does, honestly, because there's no place for him here at this point. And for me, I really like the look of Todibo, the French center back from, I believe he's on Nice, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I don't know, I think he fits the profile well. He's really athletic. He's 6'2" or something, so he's not that small. And he can pass pretty well. He can dribble really well. So I think he would fit the profile. He's a little bit aggressive, kind of like Eric Bailly. But I don't know, I'm just hoping that we get a center back in who can play. I honestly, I know he hasn't at least played right back, but he kind of fits the profile of a guy like Nathan Ake for me. That he seems like he's pretty versatile, so he could potentially fill in a right back if need be. But I don't know. I like the look of that player. I know we've been linked to Benjamin Pavard as well, which I'm not a huge fan of, because I just seen a lot of Bayern Munich fans online hoping that he leaves. So I don't want a player who's kind of, already an outcast at their club already. I'd rather have a player who's kind of on the up and has potential to even be a great signing in the future for decent money, because I don't know how much we're rumored to be in for Todibo in terms of price. But I think he'd be a good signing. And we've also seen Ryan Gravenberch from Bayern Munich, the Dutch midfielder, who used to be at Ajax with Ten Hag. It seems like Ten Hag has a connection with him that's pretty well. And I think today I saw Fabrizio Romano reporting that Liverpool and Manchester United are in for him, and he likes the prospect of potentially coming to Man United. But the problem is Bayern Munich don't really want to sell him. But I look at that and I say, Bayern Munich, if you don't want to sell him, why don't you play him? Because last year he didn't really play like a single minute. I know he played like a little bit probably, but I didn't really see him feature much, especially in the Champions League. And then this year, I don't think their plans are really going to change that much. So because they have a really stacked midfield, so I think he should come. I think that would be a cool signing as well, especially linking up with your old manager. So hopefully something happens, because at this point I'm kind of just desperate for anything to happen. And I guess one quick question for you, Chris. I think Maguire should go, because Maguire, we've seen countless times, he's just not been reliable. He's made so many big mistakes that have led to goals for the teams. I think he's just fallen out with the fan base as well, especially after the rumors that he's trying to suck money out of United to get his 2 years of compensation for his contract before he leaves. And that's kind of the sticking point for West Ham. So I'm hoping that he leaves. I don't know if he will. Who is the player you think we should sell the most, or who do you think like needs to go for their career and we need to sell them the most?
Yeah, I mean, I want to agree with you with Maguire. I do agree with you, but I mean, from just to add a second player to talk about, I think like Van de Beek should go, because he's not going to play. It seems like he broke down with Ten Hag, and I think he is a good player. So I mean, for him to restart his career, I think a move should happen for him. I know he was linked to Real Sociedad, but I think that deal's at an impasse, I think, right now,
Yeah.
unfortunately. But I think it would be best for all parties if he goes.
Yeah, this summer has been weird with a lot of deals, not just at United, but a lot of deals have kind of like been really close to being completed, and then they just randomly get called off like last second. So I don't know. We'll see what happens. Fabrizio Romano has even been wrong a couple times this summer, which is really irregular for him. But yeah, we'll see what happens with that, and hopefully we sign somebody. Hopefully we sell some of our deadwood, because we need to. But also, I know this has been a shorter podcast, but we're really busy this week, so we're trying to get some stuff out there. But yeah, last thing, moving on to this week, we've got Tottenham up next. There's also a good Man City match. Man City are playing against Newcastle, which could be a really good match as well. It's at Man City. I'm looking forward to this weekend's Premier League matches. Chris, what are your thoughts on the Tottenham match?
I just hope we get a better performance out of the lads. I think it's Tanag definitely would have grilled into them just from a physicality standpoint. It's like, why aren't you going into tackles? Why are you not? Why are you standing off? Why are you not like tracking your runners? It was, from that perspective, it was downright horrible for your first league game, first match of the season. So that was really poor. So I'm hoping we just get a better performance out of everyone.
Yeah, I hope, just like you said, not only just a better performance, but also just sticking into their tackles and really just getting stuck in and being way more physical than last week. And unfortunately, I don't know, it seems like we don't really have that physical guy apart from Casemiro and Lisandro Martinez, because a lot of our players are just very soft, especially when it comes to like tackling players and stuff. Like Mason Mount doesn't really get stuck in sometimes. Sometimes he does, but hasn't seen it yet at United. And then Rashford, I swear sometimes the ball will be in the air and he'll just be looking up.
Yeah, right.
And he won't even like come close to the defender who's challenging for it. He'll just kind of just stand there and hope the defender messes up, it really frustrates me. So I'm hoping that we can just see some more physicality, and hopefully Ten Hag gets into them. And I would love to see, I know he's injured still, but once Hojlund comes in with his physicality, I think that'll be important for the team. But yeah. I don't know. We can't rely on this 20-year-old kid who's just coming in, But yeah, with Tottenham, I think there's some changes needed also for the starting 11. And Chris, let's start with you. Who do you think should be the starting 11 this week?
So I would keep. I know our midfield was very poor, but I would keep that same. Back line the same. Keeper the same, obviously. The midfield, I would keep the same midfield, but I would change the tactics up a bit. I think I would drop Bruno a little deeper, almost in a pivot with Casemiro. Obviously, Bruno loves to free roam, but having Bruno and Mount up there by themselves was not a good decision, especially when the midfield was overrun against Casemiro. So I think I would keep the same personnel in there, just change up the tactics a bit, and then the front line I would just drop Garnacho, move Rashford out left, and put Sancho as false nine, and keep Anthony out right.
Interesting. Okay. Interesting. Yeah, I agree with some of those points. I think your point about Mason Mount staying high and Bruno coming deeper could be better too. Because I actually did see some decent runs from Mason Mount that didn't get found, especially because Bruno was already kind of high. Sometimes he was taking up that space already, and then we couldn't find Mason Mount. So I think having Bruno from deeper trying to ping balls to Rashford on the left, which I think you hit it on the nail there. If Rashford's on the left, I think that could work out really well with Bruno trying to ping balls to him. And then I think, Sancho, you know what? I'm probably just going to completely agree with you, really, because I think I was going to take out Anthony at first, but I'm just going to put Sancho at the false nine, just like you. Rashford on the left. I give Anthony another chance on the right. And then, Bruno, Mount. I think if Mount is putting those runs in the middle behind, if Sancho comes close and picks the ball up in the midfield, because he's really good at holding onto the ball, links up maybe with Anthony and Bruno, and then Bruno can play a deep ball into Mount or Rashford. I think that would be a good thing. And then also just helping Casemiro out by having Bruno drop a little bit deeper.
Yeah.
And then at the same time, too, I actually think we should have Delo play instead of Wan-Bissaka. This might be a little bit controversial.
That's insane.
It might be controversial, but
that's crazy. Let me explain yourself. I want to hear.
I like Wan-Bissaka. Don't get me wrong. I thought he had a really, really good display against Wolves. He had a couple of icky moments, but again, on the whole, I think he played really well against Wolves. But I don't know. I think we just need something different, especially offensively, because I don't really think, defensively, I don't think Wan-Bissaka really had much of a challenge. And I don't know. I don't think Spurs are really going to challenge us, at least on the left side. Because doesn't Son play on the right?
Like Son?
There's Son play on the left.
Wing? I think Son's their left wing.
I don't know. I think the center backs can handle him just fine. And at the same time, because we kind of drop into a 3 with Luke Shaw and then Lissandro and Varane when we're on offense, and then Wan-Bissaka can get higher. But I just don't think that suits him that well. I think having Delo in there might be better. And also just getting in some more. I know Wan-Bissaka had an assist, but I think Delo trying to at least just play Mount through or play Rashford through might be better. So I would start Delo. I know that sounds crazy, and he's not going to start him. But I would personally, and I think we can win the match pretty easily, honestly. I know we had a really poor display, but I think he's going to grill into him. And even if honestly, I don't really like Spurs that much. I think Spurs they don't move me, especially after losing Kane. I think they're going to struggle this season.
They're nothing without Kane, so.
Yeah, who have they replaced him with? Is Richarlison going to be their number 9 for the whole season?
Yeah.
Talk about like a downgrade.
I mean, they can go out and buy someone now. They have their 100 million.
The window's closing
richer
soon.
now.
Chris, bro.
Yeah.
Talk about a downgrade. Harry Kane to Richarlison as your starting striker, bro. That's like that might be worse than Ronaldo to Wout Weghorst.
I don't know.
Probably not, but
maybe that season. But
I don't know. Richarlison's pretty bad for the club team. I don't know why he turns into Brazilian Ronaldo whenever he goes to the national team, but whenever he plays for Spurs, he's horrible.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm not too concerned about Tottenham. I think we can win there, and I don't think we've actually lost at Tottenham's new stadium.
Yeah, I don't think so.
I don't think we have. So let's do our score predictions, Chris. Yeah. You can go first.
Score predictions. I'm gonna go 2-0.
Damn, I wanted to go 2-0. Okay, I can't.
2-0.
Yeah.
Rashford and Sancho.
Okay. Yeah, I can't take your prediction because that's just bait. I guess I'll go. You know what? Whatever. I'll go for it. I'm gonna go 3-0, and I'm gonna say.
I like it.
I'm gonna say Rashford will score off the left. I'm going to say Mount is going to score. Mason Mount is going to make a run, and he's going to score. I'm feeling a Mount goal. And then lastly, I'm feeling like a Casemiro off a set-piece goal. That's what I'm feeling. Okay. Yeah, so a Rashford off the left, Mason Mount making some type of run or something, and then Casemiro off a set-piece maybe a corner, maybe a free kick. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't think
We'll see.
Spurs aren't very dominant
I
in the
don't
air
think so.
either. They're kind of a soft team too. At least I think so. So I don't know. I think it's going to be hopefully a better match than the Wolves match. But at least we won that match too. But yeah, so I got 3-0. You got 2-0. It's probably more likely to be 2-0. But I'm going to just say 3-0. Also,
I hope it's 3-0.
as a little bonus thing, since City are playing against Newcastle, and I think that's probably the more entertaining match this weekend. Chris, let's do a little prediction for that. It's at Man City. I think that could be like, honestly, for it being
City
week 2 of the Premier League, I think that could be like a worldie of a game.
And Newcastle are off a 5-1 win against
Aston Villa, and Aston Villa they're a good side.
Yeah.
So I don't know who's your winner in that match.
I mean, City just lost De Bruyne he's out for a couple months. I'm sure probably Alvarez will move in. Maybe Kovacic will start and play a bit deeper. But I don't know. I expect City to win. But I'll go like 2-1. It's pretty basic scoreline.
That's lame. I think they're going to be goals.
It is lame.
I think they're going to be some goals. I think this is going to be crazy. I'm going to say 4-3, and I'm going to say a Hojlund hat trick. Maybe Bernardo scores, and then Isaac will score like a goal or two. Yeah. And then who else on Newcastle will score? Who else is
Almiron?
Almiron's pretty solid. Yeah, I'll say Almiron. Isaac will score. So I think it'll be a worldie of a game. So let's look out for that game.
I hope it is.
I hope they tie, honestly, because 2 points dropped for both of those teams. We saw Liverpool and Chelsea draw last week. So we're 2 points ahead of them already. Title charge just started. Arsenal kind of looked shaky, honestly, in their first match. So that was also a good sign for me. I don't think Arsenal are going to win the league just based on the first match, which is crazy to say now, but I don't think they're going to win the league. Also, I think, Chris, before the transfer window closes, or like right as soon as the transfer window closes, I think we should redo our standings, our predictions. Yeah. I know we'll have
the final. How about right after it closes, so everyone has their final squads in.
Yeah, we'll have to do another prediction of at least the top 4 because I think it's kind of cheating because we've already seen a couple of the games, but at the same time we don't know all the players that moved. And last week in the podcast, we had thought that night we had saw that Fabrizio said, "Here we go for Caicedo to Liverpool."
Yeah.
And then Caicedo switches up and goes to Chelsea. What's up with that, Fabrizio? You're making us look stupid. Thanks a lot, Fabrizio. But so hopefully once all the transfers are done, we can make a little list and we'll figure it out. But yeah, I think we'll refresh there.
Yeah.
But this is all we got. This is going to be a shorter podcast, much shorter than the last one.
Yes.
So hopefully we get more viewers from that. Hopefully. We'll see. But yeah, we'll try to make some stuff on Instagram as well in the future. But we'll see you guys next week. And hopefully United get that victory against Tottenham.
Yes.
That'd be nice. Good start, 2-0 hopefully in the start of the season. And the title charge begins this season.
It does.
Not this season. It begins now. It began against Wolves.
It began on Monday. So
it began after Onana clattered into that player.
Yes.
And then the ref didn't give us, he gave us the call. He didn't give them the call. So yeah, that's when the title charge began. Make sure you guys comment down below what your thoughts are on last week's match. Penalty, no penalty, and then also comment your score prediction for the Tottenham match. I'm going 3-0. Chris has got 2-0. That's all we got for you guys today.
Yep.
Have a great rest of your day. Peace out, fellas.
Peace.